So yesterday, professional critic Mike Ryan explained how it is that I don't do the shadow show well enough for his liking on whatever his visions were once upon a time for a shadow show.
Starting low again.
The thing that I always wanted the shadow show to be is like a private meeting we were having amongst ourselves that the audience could overhear how we actually interact as if we didn't know the microphones were on. That was the original intent of what the shadow show was supposed to be.
Lasted all of about a week.
That's how we talk to each other off air. We whisper.
No, so the way that the way I imagined it is the following. You laugh, Roy. You laugh, Roy.
Because it's funny.
Roy, but I'm very frustrated, okay, because I'm going to let the audience in on what was the private meeting, which was the private meeting was just me sitting in the middle of the room, squatting, and then rising up my palms and just asking everybody in the room, bigger! The game needs to be bigger! And then we farted out that intro yesterday, and I'm like, no! Bigger! Like, why? What do you guys not understand about we've been waiting for this football game for 20 years in this town, pro or amateur? Like, bigger! And everyone's looking at me. We're tired, Dan. The muffins are good. We don't want bigger. We just want to eat and watch the game. I'm like, let's do a live stream. Let's do 24 hours straight like freedom. Bigger! And everyone's like, Dan, I've got kids. we got practice.
There were muffins yesterday?
I want to do 24 straight hours leading to this game.
Blueberry.
Too late.
I want to do. Mike Ryan does too. He's snorting the West Coast right now. Mike Ryan is. Do you guys understand? He said earlier this week, with no self-awareness whatsoever, he's like, "You guys think I care about UM football? Mario Cristobal cares more."
That's
a thing he
I
said.
sure would hope so.
And now he's running around telling everyone Mario Cristobal, that meathead, is a genius.
Well, have you seen his offensive line play?
He's the modern. You
don't watch the games, Dan.
He's in the cult. That's right. If you watch the games, what do you mean if I watch the games? I'm watching all the games just like you are. Not for my box, you're not, Dan. Not moving and shaking with the UM women's basketball team fundraising, Golden Cane. He's everything the country hates about Miami.
It's a damn nice box he has, though.
Sure is.
You guys been?
Me and Roy went once. Got the invite for the Stanford game.
I genuinely don't know if there's anything that would make Mike Ryan happier, and he loved the Panthers winning, than the University of Miami winning this championship.
We got to talk about that. That's the best thing for the show, right? Is for them to make it to the championship game, but then to get absolutely annihilated. That's what, from a content standpoint.
By Indiana.
That's what we're rooting for, yeah.
By like, what? How'd that happen? The best story, yes, is Indiana dragging them like they did Alabama in the final.
I came back after our 2-week break, like actually for the first time in a really long time, ready to root for Miami. I was like, you know what? It's cool for the show. It's, the local story. I care about Miami teams in general.
Mike broke that.
Within about 2 hours of the show, I
2
was
hours?
like, fuck that team.
The first segment.
For so long, we're so damn excited that we put it in a song. Don't need no check downs, give me big hits and quarterbacks. Keep your fantasy team from falling off the track. Football is back, Jack. Whether on the ground or through the air, when the chips are down and you throw a prayer. When your team is primed and on the hunt, it's 4th and 10, you refuse to punt. When the shoulder pads and helmets crack, that's how you know that football is back, Jack. Let me hear you say, football is back, Jack. This high is wild and out of control. And we're gonna ride it every week till we reach the Super Bowl. Don't need no check downs. Give me big hits and quarterbacks. If you say this game's the best, I'll say it's a gag. Football is back, Jack. Football is back, Jack. Fake break camera show.
Let's go!
Fake break camera show. Fake break camera show. Biggest game in 20 years.
Mask kicks ass.
How does it rub you?
We put belt to ass.
It rubs me beyond the wrong way.
Fake break camera show.
Do you think that your family would get a lot of joy from
Malaki. So did we.
Head to head.
It's good.
Hello.
Just having fun, man. Punt.
And boom goes the dynamite.
Fake break camera show.
Yeah. I'm not letting that story mess with my glory. Talking about how long. Damn it, how long. History is gone. We are right here, right now. And every team they thought was going to beat us is taking their ass home.
Sorry.
And we're going to keep doing it until we land back home in our stadium for the national championship. Belt to ass.
Bigger. Bigger. The biggest game in 20 years. This means more to Mike Ryan than any sports thing ever. I have to imagine even the Panthers winning multiple championships. I believe Mike Ryan, who's flown across the country to be closer to the Fiesta, I believe Mike Ryan would be made happier by the Miami Hurricanes winning this football game and the next one than he would by any sports thing that's ever happened in Miami. Miami Heat included, everything included. I believe he cares more about this than anything. I need this to be a bigger fake pregame show. I'm challenging this company right now to do Freedom all over again right now today. Let's
What?
24 straight hours. Let's just go straight through right now, beginning today. Fake pregame show right up until the game. Challenging Meadowlark Media live the entire way.
go.
Right up until the game, and then watch the game together, and then go home for the night because Miami's going to play the next biggest game in 20 years, pro or college in this town. The football games are the biggest. Miami wins championships in soccer. South Florida wins championships in hockey, plural. This is the biggest thing. Football's the biggest thing, and in 20 years, they have not mattered. Either team, not really, not like this. This is the biggest thing. Is Meadowlark Media going to rise to the moment? Because I'm in the meeting before the show. Bigger! Rise to the moment! Michael Irvin Niji saying built to ask to all of you. And all of you are like, I got to go take care of the kids. And then Zaz is like, I got to go to the Peach Bowl. And I'm so, what? I'm like, no, live stream. Let's go. 24 straight hours. Freedom. Isn't this why we do this? We've been waiting 20 years. They win championships in South Florida. Plural. Soccer, hockey. And here it is. The biggest thing. Before the next biggest thing.
You got me hyped, Dan.
No, but it's
You
the
got me hyped.
time.
I'm ready to flip
It's
the table.
Michael Irvin's been asking you. It's the time right now. You don't get these chances. Miami's been waiting 20 years for this chance again. And tonight they're favored. And I want to do right up until the game.
Jeremy, make another open. Bigger.
All right, I'll make it bigger.
Bigger.
Debacled it.
Mike Ryan is already landed at the Fiesta Bowl. I don't know what his festivities planned. I don't want to speak for him here, even though I did. This is bigger by how many miles on any championship that you care about?
This is the biggest. You were right. The Panthers, for personal reasons, was big, kind of full circle because that was my first job in sports. But this one, there isn't a passion that matches this. The only thing that comes close to this was my former love for the Cleveland Browns. That would have meant a lot, but I just took that passion for the Cleveland Browns and I doubled up on my Hurricanes passion. Put my money behind it too. So yeah, this is the biggest thing ever for me.
Whose grandma's house are you at?
Right? Well, there's that. You know better than anybody. This is an Arizona ass house right now.
It's an abuela house.
Yeah.
You just said put my money behind it. Now you're somebody, wherever it is that you connect with these teams spiritually, like you bailed on Inter Miami because they gouged you. Like financially, they were ripping you off, and so your emotional investment was lost somewhere in there because you cared about everything that was happening there. You've actually invested your money and your heart in what it is you're doing. There aren't a whole lot of people, Mike, traveling with the team.
Right. Well, I mean, the people that care, I mean, it's hard. It's expensive. That's what I've learned about the college football playoff is if you make it, it's expensive. And I just diverted those Inter Miami funds to Miami Hurricanes athletics because, I wanted to be here one day and we're here. I got to be honest, Dan, it feels a little surreal. Especially after losing to SMU, I definitely didn't think that it was going to happen this year and to be going down this run. It's very pinch me the entire time. Well, yesterday, I didn't really get to soak in the environment because of everything that was going on. It was kind of like a crappy day. But today I'm going to get fired up for it. And I'm really happy that Miami's made it to this moment. It's pretty validating.
An acceptance speech right here.
It
Right?
really was. And he said crappy day while in the middle of, we're now doing the shooting white women in the face in Minneapolis thing. Like,
Yeah,
we're
if I
doing
could,
that.
if I may, for a second, because that's kind of ruined everything for me. And I'm around this country, and I know no Miami Hurricane fan wants to hear this. If they don't want to play this game today, I'm okay with it. Like the world paused during the George Floyd thing. And in Minnesota, we all saw a video of an American citizen getting shot multiple times in the face for moving their car, and our government is lying to us about it. And if this isn't a tipping point for all of us to stop what we're doing, I don't know what is. We cannot let this be okay. We cannot let life go on and not address what's happening right now. What happened last night was the sum of a lot of fears when we were talking with all this rhetoric about the previous election, and we're here, and things are happening so quickly that I think we're all struggling to stop it because there's something crazy and new every day. This we cannot let happen. And I would really prefer if sports took the moment to acknowledge that, like it has before. And even if it's just to rip the games away from you and force you to look at this and what's going on, do it. I would say. I don't know why that conversation's been absent from the sporting conversation. I don't know what we're doing right now. Things are moving too fast, I guess, but last night was one of the worst days in American history, I think. And we need to talk about it like that.
I am curious, as I do ask us to go legitimately now. I'm not joking when I say I want to be live here for a while going up to this game tonight, because I'd like to enjoy ourselves during perilous times, during times that we've been doing the song and dance every day around here, pretending that it's just about sports, while ignoring some things that feel like beyond infringements on democracy, where you're just got a senile old orange turd talking about oil and not democracy, while bombing Venezuela and making a whole lot of people in a section of Miami really happy because, yes, Maduro is down, and that's lovely. That feels like communism falling, and it feels like America being right. But there's nothing going on right now with this country when the ICE agents and the military state police are sitting there shooting even white women from Minneapolis in the face. And when this happened in Minnesota 5 years ago, we did protest in the streets because of a race thing. And, like, this is a white woman shot in the face. Like, what? That's where we are on this. And I also want to cover both things at the same time, though, Mike, because as David Sampson goes through something very difficult, and you sat in for an hour today on Nothing Personal, did you talk about this?
No. We were talking about Damon Williams in the transfer portal, which, you know, I was actually welcoming of that conversation too. Like, the Miami Hurricanes are proving to be one hell of a distraction, as you described a lot of the events that happened. And I think our show and the audience would kind of note this too. Look, we stepped away from talking about this because I think we all collectively saw the value in being a welcome distraction and bringing levity back. I think our show probably too much over the course of the previous years tried to buck against what was happening, and it was a sacrifice for our show. And I think to a degree we paid somewhat of a price. And we've had these conversations before the show, like, how do we want to talk about this? Do we want to be the bright spot in people's day? And I think to a very large degree, Dan, we've done the right thing. We've tried to make people happy and make them laugh. But you see that video last night, and you see the disgusting statements from the people in our government that are supporting the actions of that ICE agent, this fake police that is not doing what
not qualified, not fake police. We did it with fake news. Fake police, people who are not qualified to be shooting anybody in the face. They're not qualified to have those jobs.
I've never seen a group of people that are so welcoming and unhumiliated to be lied to directly to their face. None of the stuff that's happening right now is what was on the platform of what they voted for. These are not violent criminals that we're chasing down. There wasn't an invasion of Venezuela that was on the platform. How many times do you have to pivot? Are you not embarrassed? There is a tipping point. And if it's not a woman trying to move her car away from a fake police, an unqualified fake police, and getting shot in the face 3 times for it, and then having everyone in politics on that side of the aisle gaslight you and telling you what you saw is not right, and that the victim here is the person doing the shooting, when are you gonna face reality? This is a moment in time that I hope that all people meet. It's not on sports. I know I opened up with that. Sports is just a part of it. If people want to make a statement, I don't think this is a political statement. I think this is an American statement. I think that people should take the opportunity to take a stand right now and say this is not right. That's all I can do. I can't go to Minneapolis right now and protest, but I have protested in Miami, and I have made my voice heard when I can't. When I was fearful of something like this happening. Something like this just happened. I do think that we need to take to the streets. I do think that we need to make statements. I do think that anybody with a platform should speak on it. And I do agree that there are times for levity, and there's time for laughter, and there's times for transfer portal, and there's times for the Verbo Fiesta Bowl. Maybe we can do all those things at the same time, but now is absolutely a time to use your microphone and say this is not right.
And you mentioned distractions. That's absolutely right. People want the sugar instead of the medicine, and the media as a whole is just not helping. I mean, especially CBS, who seems like they've bought and paid for it. They're just making excuses for this government.
Well, so this is okay. Yes.
I'm sorry, this is not the Fiesta Bowl preview that you anticipated.
No, CBS, of course. Look, I've been wanting to talk about this stuff for a while, and I felt a bit cowardly in not talking about some of it because this is a hugely interesting time in media. It's collapsing. Hollywood is collapsing, and mainstream media has already collapsed. It's already done collapsed, and now they're picking up the pieces. And, of course, CBS, home to 60 Minutes, one of the great journalistic empires, is afraid of the Mad King, like run by the Mad King, and that's one network gone as he chases Kimmel and bombs Venezuela because there's a loon in charge, a loon that has a million deficiency, including trying to cover up an alleged pedophilia scandal that is in the middle of everything that we're doing as the world burns and brown people are jailed and now white women are shot in the face by fake police. Yes, it's enraging. But the Fiesta Bowl tonight.
It's a huge game.
20 years.
Yeah, big game. Yeah, boy. Look, I don't think there's many things that could lift my spirits, but lifting up that Verbo Fiesta Bowl trophy might help. Might help matters.
I want to go. I'm not kidding you when I say I want the stunt of this is what just happened in the meetings before the show, where I have to agree to live stream the national championship game, whether or not Miami's in it. And I'm like, no, I'd only like to do it if Miami's in it. I don't really want to do it the other way. And they're like, nope, you got to commit to it now. And so if Miami loses tonight, I get the pleasure of being able to live stream a game I don't even want to watch.
Mike, how do you feel about? We talked about it right before you came on. I think collectively we're all rooting for Miami to win and then get their ass handed to them in the national championship game for the sake of the show, for the sake of content.
What?
Yeah, no, that's the best.
No.
Yes.
What? Oh, I'm sorry, Amin. Has the show over the course of its 20 plus years not had enough of Miami sadness? You think that we need yet another heartbreaking loss? I think there's been a pretty consistent theme throughout the history of the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz, and that's Miami and its fans and Mike are sad. They're pathetic. And I think 21 years in, we can finally have a happy ending. I think that's what's
I don't want to
show.
put this out there, but if we're just talking funniest thing for the show, it's like a Mario blunder at the end of the championship.
Funniest thing for the show.
Even better than get their hats handed. No, I like that.
Mike, you're not going to do better than that.
Come on.
So he doesn't kneel at the end or something. Or I'll show you guys. I'll keep running up the score through the face mask of the other team.
One will do.
I'll show you what toughness is and cost you the championship.
No. Rest assured, I'll get the most enjoyment out of Dan hosting a corporate-sponsored live stream for Oregon Ole Miss. That's what I'll
listen, them boys.
No, with my father. Mike's been saying for years, my father's going to be the casino greeter right over there near the Freedom Towers because they're building the Trump Library right here. That my father at the end is just going to be welcoming people into the Freedom Tower for a token so he can go get some government cheese.
Guys, please don't treat Mike like he did me when the Panthers were up 3-0 on Edmonton. That was not fun. Don't do that to him.
But Roy, it's a different strain of pain, right? Like, well, he's right. We've celebrated the sadness and the pain for 20, but this one would be, this is a rarity.
Yeah, they never really get this close, right?
Best,
So close.
Best for show content. Everyone gets to laugh at us. No one will do better in their imagination than a Mario Cristobal coaching blunder at the end. There's nothing funnier than that.
They haven't had that. They haven't had that. They've had plenty of that.
No, there would be nothing funnier than them about to beat Indiana undefeated. You give me the funnier than them
you
about.
Suck. You suck. I thought you met this moment with the right energy at the start. You're a Canes guy. Can we be happy?
We want them
Can
over.
we have happiness? I'm not even just talking about the Miami Hurricanes and its relationship with this show. Can we have some happiness? Period.
Yes.
Let me be happy.
So yes, I will let you be happy now by pointing out again as you make an acceptance speech.
It was a validation speech.
You care about this in a way when you're saying you are putting your money where your mouth is,
Almost as much as Mario.
and the NIL money and the business of it. You've become an insider on journalism stuff and sports stuff. And one of the interesting analyses of this game that I would say is the greatest advantage Miami has, I don't think there's a better one than the one I'm about to say. I think Georgia in pass rush was like 120-something in sack rate, and they were bothering Chambliss. Miami 7, and it's the best advantage that Miami has on the field. It's the best advantage either one of these teams has, although Miami's running game against their inability to stop the run is also a secondary advantage. But Miami should win this game based on its advantages and will only lose it if they turn the ball over.
Yeah, Miami should win this game. We had a pretty contentious discussion about it yesterday. I agree. Ole Miss does things that can bother Miami. I'm curious to see the matchup. I do think Miami's offense will be challenged to respond. They haven't trailed in these games, and I think that they'll have to rise to the occasion. But also, as I noted, Miami's played plenty of tempo this year. I'm pretty sure Julian Sayin thought he got that ball out pretty quick as he was watching Keontae Scott run the other way with it. Miami can press you at the line of scrimmage and those receivers. Miami can really nuke a lot of what Ole Miss does well. And while the coaching thing that Ole Miss has done has been incredibly impressive, it's one of the most impressive things I've ever seen. I can't tell if Phillip Rivers playing football or Ole Miss's coaching staff navigating this Lane Kiffin thing is more impressive. But people need to realize in the college football playoff, they played Tulane and Georgia. Those are two teams they'd already played in the season. They just had to microwave their game plan. They haven't seen anything like Miami, and they're going to find out today.
Mike, how different would you feel had Lane Kiffin not left Ole Miss if he was the head coach right now?
I can't lie. Like, this situation helps Miami. I don't know how these coaches are navigating it, especially with the portal being open and having to worry about talent retention. Like, you have quality control coaches that have never been in this situation, having to step up and coach position groups. I don't know everything that goes into coaching, but I have an idea of game day preparation, and I know what our side is doing. I know what our coordinators are doing.
Wait a minute. That's a happen to know. That's an I know. He gave it as an I know, but that's a happen to know. That's even stronger than happen to know.
Oh my God, he knows. He happens to know. Come everyone, come and listen. Happens to know. He happens to know. Well informed.
What do you know, wise golden cane? What do you know?
I know that our coaches have way more time to prepare for this game. Now, I don't know how much that helps. Like, this is pathetic to say, and it really speaks to how much.
I thought you just knew.
No. I do know about the time that our coaches are dedicating to this and how it's impossible for Ole Miss to dedicate that same amount of time when they're flying back and forth to Baton Rouge. That part is obvious. It's pathetic to say. I haven't been around college football at this level in my lifetime as an adult, So I don't know how to read vibes. I thought Miami had a really good vibe and a really good intensity and a really good focus when I was around the coaches and the players over the last 2 college football playoff games.
Hit the button.
What are you laughing about? What? Look at me, Louie.
This is a
What
look
do
at
you
me,
want?
Louie.
Of course. Of course.
Look at me, Louis.
Why? Because he knows?
No, because when I was around the players and the coaches over the last couple of
No, Miami's dialed, but I look at the other end. I look at the Ole Miss coaches put out a video of them playing baseball in one of the like meeting rooms, and I don't even know if they have enough coaches to field a baseball team. Like these guys are loose, but I guess I'll just play the result. If Ole Miss wins this game, I'll be like they were just incredibly loose. That's a house money. They were unburdened by everything, but these people look awfully happy to be here, and they're not giving off respect the opponent nearly as much as Ohio State and Texas A&M did.
Oh, are you demanding respect from Mississippi as an opponent?
No, I'm not demanding respect. We will take it.
Oh, so what is happening here? So wait a minute. So Ohio, what you're saying is that Texas A&M.
If they play the game.
Hold on. What
if they play the game?
Yes,
which I'm not so sure they should.
I believe you said they shouldn't. I believe
they probably shouldn't. We probably shouldn't be on the air right now. I shouldn't be doing anything. I should be home with my family and probably stocking up on canned goods.
Yes, and we should be broadcasting live from what is still a live free media center, right? As CBS gets bought.
Yeah.
Yes, in a little bunker. Wait, we laughed. That's not funny, Roy. None of this is funny, Roy.
I apologize.
No, this is funny. We're in a bunker, and we're going to have one of the few free microphones out there in 4 weeks when the fake cops start shooting other people. They're shooting the white women in the face. What? In Minnesota, it's a fake police. Like, you can't have fake police. You can't shout fake news, fake news, fake news, fake news while we're in the streets with George Floyd. Fake news, fake news, fake news, fake news. And that's a race protest. And then have this, what you have happening right now in America, which is not overstated to say the propaganda of the networks that are bought and paid for by this orange person and his powers that can't be taken away. That the country is under attack now when the white women in Minnesota are being shot in the face by fake police that aren't police, that are only police because the white president who's senile and crazy and getting his crazy people crazier is saying brown people are the problem. Get all the brown out of the country. Kill the black, get the brown out of it. Get it all out of here.
Yeah, I think the vice president yesterday said America has a Somali problem. Look, let me try to focus, and I know that a lot of what Dan said, if you're on the other side, you might view as toxic. All right, let's just look at this from the facts. We all saw that video. It ain't right. That was an American. That wasn't some violent criminal that crossed our border that you believed ICE was here to stop. That's not what was positioned. We all know over the last few months, that's not what they're doing. We've all seen the videos. You can politicize that. I think yesterday we can all agree, maybe with the exception of Stephen A. Smith, that was wrong. That was really wrong. And we, as what we think we are as Americans, if we want to honor anything that flag is supposed to represent, we all got to unify and say, this has to stop. This is not right. And I'm not even talking about the act. I'm talking about how people are talking about it afterwards, saying that it's okay, gaslighting you, lying to your face about what you saw with your very own eyes. That's wrong. That is wrong. Shooting someone in the face that shouldn't have been shot in the face absolutely is wrong. But for nobody to actually conduct an investigation, put the blame on this innocent murder victim and tell you that they were a domestic terrorist, fuck that. Straight up. Everybody needs to come together and say, no, that is not okay. People need to lose jobs. People need to be held accountable. People need to say it's not right.
The video does not lie, but in this age of what media you're going to trust, you can't trust any of it. It's all fake news, propaganda. What's real? What's AI? How do you manipulate the masses? I mean, you must be. I'm curious because I haven't heard from you on anything like this. You know what government. You came to America for reasons that didn't have this in it. You thought this country didn't have this in it, correct?
Yeah, no, I mean, there's a level of, like, I'm listening to you guys talking, there's a level of, like, almost like naivete I'm hearing from you guys. Like, what, you think
Mm-hmm.
it's been happening? Like, this has been happening not by fake police, but by real police to citizens, but citizens that aren't white women. But now it's like, oh my God! I'm like, yeah, like they every time you push an inch of a limit and no one reacts and no one pushes back and no one really stands in solidarity, like, okay, we can say that it's gone too far. This is what happens. And so this is the next logical evolution, which is, people who aren't even ordained or, like law enforcement officers are allowed to do these things in the name of the great dictator, right? Hey, maybe we could change the Constitution and run a third term. Maybe we can invade a country, regardless of how bad it is over there, without any congressional approval. Like there's a whole list of things you have to do before you can declare war on a country. And before you say, oh, it wasn't declared war, we're arresting him for drug trafficking. Well, then why did the president say we're going to run Venezuela?
Yeah.
That, like, at that moment, you have just announced we annexed the country. We military operation.
Or pardoning Honduras for an
forget,
assortment of similar things.
The hypocrisy aside, I'm just saying when you do a military action in a foreign land, saying it's under the auspices of law enforcement because this guy's a drug trafficker, and then you announce the successful operation by saying, we're going to run Venezuela. Ladies and gentlemen, that's not law enforcement. That is imperialism.
And for oil, said flatly, said several times, we're doing this for Venezuela's oil, never mentioning democracy.
Secretary of State says we're going to set up an account and we're going to sell the Venezuelan oil and we're going to get the money and then we'll pay Venezuela, to help them. Like, guys, this I don't understand. If we just call it the East India Tea Company or whatever, maybe it'll be a little bit more imperialistic, but it is imperialism. But all of this is complicit because for years and years, and this is why I say it's not a partisan thing. There's always been parties, and for the last however many years, Republicans and Democrats, and they're at each other's necks or whatever. But there was a process and a decorum which this is done. Decorum, just in terms of, hey, how we speak to each other. Process in terms of, like, there are rules that we're all following.
No, polite society is dead.
Forget polite society. There were rules. Polite society is the unwritten rules that we all follow. You don't say fuck around and find out on national TV because it makes you seem like a big tough guy. Like, that's just not appropriate. But besides that, there are rules to how this stuff gets done. Constitutional rules written years ago by the framers because they envisioned a world where the leader of this country could just do whatever the hell they wanted, and they didn't want that. What we have now is this because it has been complicit. Everyone's complicit with it. Yeah, go along with it. Yeah, well, I know. He's on our side, so who cares? The number of people I got to hear about, like, oh, Venezuela's so bad. Y'all didn't give a damn about no Venezuela. You didn't care. Now you care?
Mm-hmm. Now, to Amin's point, like, think of it in sports terms. Like, you have a winless team. Everybody wants to coach out. There isn't brand loyalists that say, like, no, this is what I wanted. People in sports have the awareness of, like, well, our plan didn't work out and we must change it. A lot of what's going on right now, not just the Venezuela thing, because maybe you can find some campaign stop where he talked about Venezuela and maybe some campaign stop about Greenland. But Colombia, Honduras, Cuba. We're putting out propaganda from our social media accounts saying this is our hemisphere. We're straight up imperial. We're threatening to take military action to fellow NATO members. What is this? He wouldn't have won the election talking about these things. Nobody would have said this was okay.
Mike, what did he talk about when he won the election? What was the thing that he was really talking about all the time?
America first. No wars.
Number one and number two, economy.
The economy
the
sucks.
thing that's in the shitter.
What? Like, if you're on that side, and also let's not forget releasing the Epstein files, you're literally getting, like, almost none of the stuff that you're asking for.
That's
like how are you waking up sucking that down?
They let you
and
down.
Defending it? It's humiliating.
If you voted for him, he's letting you down. He's not letting me down.
Yes.
He's doing everything I thought he was going to do.
Be pissed with us. Like, this is all bad. You should agree. You're also not getting what you wanted. There's a whole bunch of people in this country on both sides of the aisle that are getting.
I knew you were going to get that wrong. I knew you were going to get the timing on that wrong. You could have done it a second earlier.
Biggest game in 20 years.
And you could have stopped him at the right time, but you blew it. You cut him off.
Biggest game
And I was
in
making
20
a good
years.
point, I felt.
Yo, you didn't see him say fuck.
Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah, but you were just sitting there. You waved everybody off, and you're like, I got it. I got biggest game in 20 years. I got it. I got the timing on this. And then you couldn't get your timing right with Mike. But it is a giant game.
It is. It's huge. And maybe we win it and host a natty, and that'd be great.
Mike, this might be just a figment of my old age, right? But I remember the last time Miami was this good. Everybody on that team was famous. I'm talking about famous in the moment, right? Not years later, I can't believe those guys were all on the same team. It's like, in the moment, we're like, wow, these guys are all famous. If you ask me to name University of Miami players right now, and again, this might be just because I'm old and I can't pay attention to shit. I know Carson Beck.
He's infamous.
That might be the only name.
So hold on. So Amin's coming into this with the expertise of Georgia Tech football fan who really cared the last couple of years about Haynes King and is amused by an entire system that produces Duke wins the ACC championship game. Haynes King is probably the best quarterback in the conference, and Georgia Tech collapses at the end, and now Miami plays for a most improbable of championships. It sneaks up on you a bit because there's never been a champion that has also lost to Louisville and SMU before the year. Like that's not something that's happened before.
I talked to people about this stuff, and someone made a really good point about you mentioning the loss of Louisville and this being a potentially the first 2-loss champion since LSU, and it's a historical outlier. I also don't think you can find many champions that would have 14 wins. But I think parity has come to this sport, and you need to look at this sport more like the NFL. Geno Smith, Pete Carroll, they went to Foxborough and beat the New England Patriots week 1. Their season wasn't over, and I think that you need to look at the regular season in college football in this new age of parity more like the NFL than you used to.
That was a weird game. The Raiders beat the Pats week 1. Wow.
It's why I haven't believed in the Patriots since. If you ask me for any of the numbers, you can give me all the metrics. I keep expecting them because their players are injured, the linemen are injured. I expect Drake May to not actually be the next great thing. Are you kidding me? The Patriots got another one that fast? No, it can't be that fast. And the reason I'm saying is Pete Carroll dragged your ass. He dragged your ass in New England week 1, held you to 10 points. I watched it.
But in the NFL, we pay extra close attention to how well teams are playing at the right time, peaking at the right time. There's that cliche. You want to play your best ball at this time of year. And for whatever reason, we can't program our brains to do that because of what college football used to be. We still think that Miami is the team that lost to Louisville and SMU when, like the NFL, they're bumps in the road. They can learn from it and they can find their form, and they have. They're peaking at the right time. I think the sport's changed, and I think that media is just kind of struggling how to apply the logic, which is the sheer absurdity of the CFP discussion.
Okay, Mike, yes, you're right about this, and you'd also be right if you said the following, okay? Did Navy win its last bowl game? Did Navy beat Oklahoma at the end of last year? Because the Navy team I watched this year was as good as any I've seen. They beat Memphis, they beat South Florida, but they won a bunch of close games, and so no one will ever believe that Navy is playoff good. Like that, because there have been too many years.
That was a couple years ago, I think, the Navy team that beat Oklahoma, right?
Okay, so but no one's ever going to believe that Navy's going to be playoff good, even though this was an amazing Navy team this year, and the wins over Memphis and South Florida were legitimately impressive.
So last year they went 10-3 after beating Oklahoma in their bowl game. This year they were 11-2. Their 2 losses were at North Texas and at Notre Dame.
And they got crushed by Notre Dame, and that's part of the reason. But I only bring up the point for this reason. Nobody would consider Navy. You can make the argument the Navy that was better than some of the playoff teams that would have beaten James Madison. You can make that argument. It wouldn't be very hard. But when I look at also what's happening with the SEC is that there's this assumption that Alabama and Georgia would be Alabama and Georgia just because you've seen Alabama and Georgia in those uniforms look like that for 10 years. And that defensive line was terrible this year. Like, there are only 136 teams. It's 126th in pass rush. Georgia won championships because they had NFL guys on the defensive line. You're loving the uniforms. Alabama and Georgia ain't that. Indiana just showed you what Ohio State type football does to Alabama, like runs it into the ground. So what Mike is overseeing over here is you're in the new system of investing your money. Miami is very close to having the best thing, most probably to win, even though its offense is the worst thing remaining statistically, because it can also beat you with its offense tonight. It just hasn't had to do it so far. It's why Mike's this kind of confident. He knows if you can beat Ohio State that way, you can do that to anybody. You're good enough to do it to anybody.
So we're not going to talk about the Edward Cabrera trade.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
You're very pleased with yourself.
I love
there.
the little
Yes.
pause there.
Yeah.
4 seconds, everybody. That was 4 seconds.
That's the
4
good stuff
seconds.
right there.
I think the pause is what
That
feels
silence,
good.
I just love it. I don't know why. Can I do it again?
Sure, yeah.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Oh, that was faster. That was 3
Oh,
seconds.
man.
That makes it more yours, right? It puts your signature on it. You
I
could be
just got
more,
chills.
I think you need to be more of a spokesman for DraftKings, just doing it that way, because not everyone can do it that way, and that's the correct way to do it. Everyone's doing it all over. No one's doing it like that.
Zagak.
I saw Kevin Hart and Shaq, and they definitely didn't.
No, they're not.
No.
They
It's a
kind of
nice
just
house
ran
they're
through
in,
it. DraftKings crown is yours.
DraftKings commercials, nice houses.
Man,
Always.
the LeBron one is good too.
It'd be wild if LeBron was in like a small apartment in the commercial.
All right, I have a conundrum, and I need the help of the group here because it is a legitimate complication after 20 years of doing this, and specifically the last 5 years of doing it. Media is collapsing. Independent microphone's kind of important.
Yeah.
And I'm very grateful to the audience that rides with us so that we can do daily what we have done and less well the last 5 years because we've buried it in sports to hide and help you laugh at the ridiculousness of the country falling apart around you. I don't feel like it's hyperbole to say that. I don't feel like it's propaganda. We risked everything to have these microphones be free so that I could live that, so that you could just see my family live it. My family live it because my dad wanted me to believe in journalism, and now you just see it all gets
Your dad wanted you to believe that?
ravaged. My dad, we make the joke about the Freedom Tower's next door. It's the first place my father was in this country, and we're talking about him being a casino greeter for Trump Library in a couple of years because this is Cuba. We learned nothing from the lessons of Cuba. Miami became Cuba. The United States became Cuba because we didn't understand the very basics of, do you people not understand when you have freedom, you have to protect it vigilantly? Like you can't just give it away to any sort of just orange vanity poser who, like...
I feel like you're talking about someone specific now.
Oh, but seriously,
staying
like
here, huh?
one of the most insulting parts of everything happening in this country is the idea that the power could be taken this cravenly by just a moron, like just a total moron.
Well, Dan, not a moron.
A creamsicle moron.
Well, not a creamsicle who exhibits the behavior of a moron. Come on, guys.
All right, but Amin is sitting here lamenting, as am I, because during the audience thinks I don't feel this and know this. I'm sitting there in the middle of our fake pregame show before the meeting where it's like, bigger! And I'm listening to Amin and Mike Ryan, and I'm like, where's the Magic Crate music? Like, where, God almighty, where's the Magic Crate? But the problem we have is the sensibilities of the Magic Crate were always being run by the guy who was gasbagging there, Mike Ryan.
Yeah.
So what happened?
I was afraid to hit it.
You were
in that
afraid?
segment.
It's part of the problem around here.
I mean, it was a serious conversation.
I'm glad we're having it.
And we had it, so can we move on?
To biggest game in 20 years.
Play the music now.
To biggest game in 20 years. I interrupted Amin on the way to his vantage point on Amin has cared more about college football, I think, the last 3 years than he has in the last 25, at least in part because he's been able to laugh at the University of Miami through the face of Georgia Tech being good for the first time in his lifetime.
Georgia Tech being good?
Georgia Tech being
Sir,
Georgia
respect yourself.
Forgive me. Georgia Tech being better as a relevant national name than Miami. Georgia Tech has not been in a Miami.
Sir, respect yourself.
What is that? What is that condemnation? What are you
It's a
saying?
condemnation about the 1999 Yellow Jackets, led by my good friend and neighbor Joe Hamilton, second in
All right.
Heisman voting.
All right. So
the only team that stared us down was Florida State, and we lost by 6 at Tallahassee. You know why? Because Peter Warwick was the best football player I've ever seen in my life.
Yes.
In my life.
Yes, he was very good.
He was very good.
Yes, no, he was. He was.
Dan, respect yourself.
Respect yourself. You're not respecting yourself right now.
It's such a great T-shirt. Amin shouting at somebody, respect yourself, because I dared to not mention the 1999 Golden State Yellow Jackets, as I like to call them. But yes, your interest in college football, you thought you had the Heisman Trophy winner this year before the last couple of games of the season?
I'm going to say this. I don't think he was going to win it, but not because he wasn't deserving, but because college football is bought and paid for. It's corrupt, man. And like they have their little in club and like, oh my God, these guys are different. We're not gonna give. I know it's not a level playing field from that vantage point. But having said that, I'm proud of what the Yellow Jackets did. I'm proud of Haynes King.
Another acceptance speech.
Yeah, no, I'm proud. I'm real proud. But
he was proud to be a Yellow Jacket this year. Was sort of my point. He got to wave the flag of alma mater allegiance publicly, and it felt good with pride.
I won't lie, it did feel good. It felt good when they were winning, and then when they started losing, I'm like, who cares?
Well, but you only started losing at the very end because you had a lot of quarterback and not a lot else. And you weren't that much worse than Miami most of the season, which is probably why it is a whole lot of people are frustrated today. I do wonder this, actually, because I don't know the answer to the question I'm about to ask.
Wait, you don't know the question you're about to ask? This is amazing.
I don't know the answer.
Oh, okay. I was like, whoa, this is ultimate. I wonder this is how Trump feels. Like, I don't know what I'm about to say next.
That could be a T-shirt, too.
I don't know what Miami's or America's rooting interests are.
Oh, I know.
Tonight. Well, so help me here because you say what's best for the show. I always assume that half of the country rooting for Miami to lose is what makes Miami the brand that it is nationally, even though it hasn't been this kind of relevant in 20 years, because Miami will do numbers tonight because it's Miami. Miami of the 4 remaining teams will be the most interesting one to America, but not the most polarizing unless you're using only the history of Miami as a program and a city, because these kids haven't done anything to misrepresent anyone in Miami.
Nobody cares about that. It is the most polarizing, right? Like, in terms, Indiana, that's like, oh, shucks, that's a nice story. Oregon, like, yeah, they're usually good. Ole Miss, people feel sorry for them. That's the team their coach walked out on. Man, that's who people are. Forget about Miami. People are going to be rooting for Ole Miss just because that's the team their coach walked out on.
Is Cristobal going to be beaten by a bunch of coaches who are working part-time the last couple of days? Is Cristobal going to lose with the better team because the other coaches, and if you didn't see the end of the first half of Mississippi, it was funny because I think a lot of people missed it. Georgia, they couldn't get their field goal team on the field. They had no timeout, so they just threw away 3 points in that game because if you'd put a clown car on the field, it was as poorly coached a moment as you will see in college football, a lack of discipline all season. And Mario Cristobal could lose to it. That's the best result.
No. The best result, Chris had it right. You win this game, you get to the Natty, and then it's a close game, and all you had to do is some blatant, like, hey, everyone does this in this situation.
I loved your idea here where they're tied late and they go for 2 instead of kicking an extra point. Like with no time left.
Like that. It would have
tie
to be
game.
Like
Nebraska?
No, he's saying the game is tied, and Cristobal decides to go for 2.
Go for 2
tied with no time left.
Just to prove it.
With a running play right up the
His genius offensive line.
Well,
that's the best case.
Okay, so guys, this I didn't object to it strongly enough the other day because Mike Ryan's a crazy person. Him coming out here and talking about the multiple layers of genius of Mario Cristobal, okay? The 3-pronged geniuses, like Einstein's a genius. The 3-pronged genius of Mario Cristobal. When if the Tony fumble in Texas A&M goes another way, Miami's not here and we're laughing at Mario. Now he's genius 2 games later at I block better than you. But Mass does kick ass. And they are going to be able to run the ball against this team, even though their offense has been, by far, the worst this postseason. Like, they don't try anything downfield. Their 2 biggest offensive plays or the 2 biggest scoring plays have been a pick 6 and a special teams return that went for like 60 yards. Everything else has been, this is not an explosive offense. This is the worst offense remaining in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, James Madison lost their game to Oregon, a Final Four team, but they scored as many points in their 1 game against Oregon as Miami has scored in 2 games. Like, that's the James Madison offense. So you're going to need to win this with defense, and you're going to need to do it against Trinidad Chambliss, who we know Zaz is sick of.
Remember, guys, Ole Miss tackles.
I don't think, though, that I have an accurate answer, and I don't know what you guys would hypothesize here. America sits in front of its televisions, its streaming services tonight to watch a legitimately big college football game made bigger by the fact that Miami participates in it in whatever form, because Miami used to mean something. And this all new system, the portal's over here. I don't understand what the hell's going on with Lane Kiffin's team. This JUCOization and AAUing of college football that has made it a professional sport with no rules whatsoever, a genuine stupidity that allows you to buy yourself a quarterback in Carson Peck, $21 million, and spend it to get into a game, lose two games during the season, and not play for the championship with what everyone believes to be the better team. I don't know what America's rooting for. I don't know.
You know what America's rooting for.
I don't.
On the one hand, you have a team whose coach walked out on them. These poor kids from Mississippi, Ole Miss, right?
Mm-hmm.
As I mentioned in the weekend.
I think broader. I think America prefers Miami losing in the final, not tonight.
America, that's a part of having a team like that is you root for it the entire way. People don't root for the Yankees to lose in the World Series. They root for the Yankees to lose the whole way. And by the time it gets to the World Series, it hits a fever pitch. You have to build that fever pitch by hating them along the way. There's no part of America. Dan, if we drew a map, you know those maps, they say like, hey, what team are you rooting for? It's going to be one little corner here in Florida.
I love those maps. What state, what team is every state rooting for?
They're all rooting for Ole Miss.
I love those things.
They're all rooting for Ole Miss. You understand it. Miami's reputation on one side as a program, and on the other side, Ole Miss and their poor kids. Their coach walked out on them.
I don't know, Dan. You, me, and Amin have been alive for more than 40 years. Under no circumstances has America ever rooted for the Miami Hurricanes.
Yeah, the America you were just talking about, Dan? Remember that America we were talking about last segment? You think that America is rooting for Miami over Ole Miss?
I thought that America would prefer the idea of an undefeated Indiana beating Miami, that is more satisfying as an underdog story. An Indiana team like none before it, an Indiana team that comes out of nowhere, beats the bought Miami Hurricanes who just got into the game by getting all the best players, by paying a coach $90 million, and now we're going to win the business of football by getting bigger mass kicks ass, and our offensive linemen and defensive linemen will be paid more than your guys, and we will tackle the quarterback better than your guys do that, and they will get to the legitimate, as it can be, championship game of the moment.
We have a map here.
Yeah, Dan, I'd like to, if I could, just utilize some of the new tools we have available to us here. Here, this is the United States right here. Right? Let me draw this circle big, nice and big. That's the United States, right? You see this part right here? Everything that I'm shading right here.
Tell the audio audience what you're shading.
I'm shading the entirety of the country. Maybe someone else should do that, so it's a little fun.
All right, so
49 states.
Well, we can do that with you, Amin, if you told us you were going to do this. So what's happening, audio audience, is Amin is using the telestrator, and he promised us he would do it better than Cody today because Cody was a disaster with it yesterday. And now we've gotten him a map. And now that we have toys with all this new media freedom that we have in this modern age of nobody has media freedom, Amin has a telestrator, and he has crossed off most of an American map. Go ahead, Amin.
And now I'm going to write right here in blue, because that's, I believe, the color that Ole Miss wears. This is Ole Miss country right here. Everything blue and red, Ole Miss.
The entire country.
Okay, so you're just painting in the rest of the country. Everyone is rooting for Ole Miss tonight.
Alaska and Hawaii as well. Don't lose them.
Okay. And three-quarters of Florida.
And then, that's true. This is also right here, Ole Miss country, northern Florida, because you got Tallahassee here, you got Gainesville. They don't like you guys.
Miami's not even in the shot.
Because of the lower third, we can't even see the part of the country that is rooting for Miami.
And it's not Tampa.
Because of the lower third graphically that says the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz.
Nice graphic.
So let's zoom in on southern Florida, and I'll show you exactly which.
But this isn't great as audio. You understand that? You've hijacked the show now to do something that is all visual.
Well, I would say
you can hit the trash can button if you want to clear.
I know how to use it.
Okay.
I know how to use it. I would say that maybe don't give me a visual tool and then demand me to make it an audio product.
I think now would be a good time to hit the magic creative content.
Right.
He's run out of material, and
he
lost all of the blue that was on the map.
So you're calling for magic creative.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, because
it's not even that big of an area.
Yes, I want
right there. Oh, I did too much there. West Palm ain't with us. Hold on.
You got Western Florida in there.
There you go, right here.
This is an hour late,
that
okay?
right
this
there.
is an hour late.
Grab a topic out of the
Yeah, if we're going to do it visually, I don't know how that fell apart. So you were just were you trying to just get to the tip of a penis joke? Is that what you were trying to get to visually? Is that all that you were doing? Yes? Okay, great.
What did you think of Mike McDaniel's glasses? I don't know what moment in time we're talking about here. He always has silly glasses. So
no, this was when Juju was in town. That's a good ad lib, by the way, off of that. Just to look up and look around and be confused and not know what the bit is supposed to be.
I don't like his glasses. I'll say it.
I'll ask you.
The mystery cat used to have like good things like, hey, if you were a color, what color would you be? Not like specifics. What do you think of the second episode of Beverly Hills Cop?
Forest green.
You'd be forest green?
That's Dan's color.
Do me a favor, please,
Dan copied my color.
Lewis. Ask Juju what he meant to trigger with that question when he threw it in the Magic Crate of Content when he was in town. And we will see if we can get an answer to that question that has interested participants.
We
in
need
the post-game.
timeless questions, guys. Timeless questions.
Are you telling Juju how to do the show?
How to do the mystery crate, or the magic crate,
I just snitched on Juju. I don't think
I didn't know Juju wrote it, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's supposed to be known.
Well, that's a
I
shocker.
think the Magic Creative Content.
Dan Le Batard snitches on someone.
So I don't think, though, I don't think that Amin has this right, though. When you're just saying that by reflex, by history, by pattern, everyone's rooting against Miami again. So you're framing for me, what you're saying is it's legitimately Miami against the world. Nobody wants Miami to win. And every team says that every year. And most years it's nonsense. And Miami's going to be running around saying no one believed in us. No one believed in us because they lost 2 games.
Nobody did believe in them. Like that's why I said, like in weekend observations, holy shit, Mike was right. Because it's like, I am legitimately shocked. Texas A&M, I was like, okay, they could do it. Ohio State, I was like, damn. I'm completely floored. I had no confidence whatsoever. And now they're not even playing Georgia, which is what we thought was going to happen before. Like, hey, you got to beat Ohio State, then you got to beat Georgia. So now they don't have to play Georgia. I'm like, holy shit, they could actually do it.
It's just so funny, though, because like 2 years ago, this season just would have ended.
Yeah.
Before anything. They wouldn't have even played for the conference championship.
Yeah.
It would have ended. And now they've earned their way there. That's really cool. But it is funny that we're like doing these victory laps on behalf of the U is back and everything is amazing when they could just be like eliminated from a weird extra postseason that no one cared about 2 years ago.
You want to hear a funny way to think of this? They're basically FAU basketball from a couple of years ago.
Yeah, that's what they are.
That's all they are. You got hot in the tournament.
No, they got hot.
You got hot in the tournament. You made the Final Four.
They didn't even make their conference championship.
Among the more impressive things I saw, though, down the last part of the season was what Miami did specifically to NC State as it started getting healthy, okay? There's some physical things happening with this team as we have some confusions about how strong the athletes in some of these conferences are. Because we do have these confusions when there are athletes all over the place. You've seen that the measurements can become difficult on this thing, right? I mean, like we're sitting here watching, and I believe everyone listening and watching this thinks that Alabama and Georgia, because of those uniforms, were something close to what Alabama and Georgia have been the last 5 or 6 years, and it's just not. Mm-hmm. Like it's just Mississippi has a different quarterback in a different uniform, and Mississippi has all the same athletes Georgia does. There's no This is the best Mississippi season we have seen. They lost. The only game they lost was to Georgia, correct? It was the one loss they have. But if I tell you the entire conference is fraudulent and Georgia just sits atop it because it has, you don't see all the rampant mediocrity throughout the entirety of the conference. But NC State, whatever you think of it, or Pitt, whatever you think of it, Miami dragged NC State in a way that was like, oh, they're a lot more physical. And as Notre Dame watches what's happening here, and says, oh, that could have been us. Like, we were right there. We could beat Texas A&M in a game. We could beat Miami in a game. We could beat Ohio State. Why couldn't we? Why couldn't we beat Ohio State? We've got a good quarterback. We've got a quarterback who doesn't turn the ball over. We've concocted this wildly funny thing in a new ecosystem of taking all our past thoughts and thinking they apply at all to what we're watching right now.
Precisely.
Indiana is as good as anybody. Indiana plays that Ohio State of football. When they play it against Ohio State, it's going to be 13-10, even if they have the Heisman Trophy winner. And then they go drag Alabama because Alabama's not that good because the SEC was fraudulent all year. Not anything like what you remember. As fraudulent as Clemson is fraudulent this year, what you used to think of Clemson, the entire SEC is that kind of fraud this year. And just because you're used to seeing Georgia be good and Mississippi being better than Georgia, they are smaller than Miami. They're physically smaller on the offensive and defensive line, and you're going to see it tonight.
Even in the SEC, Ole Miss beat no one. Like, I'm looking through their schedule right now. their wins, and just to say all the teams, Georgia State, Kentucky, Arkansas, Tulane, LSU, Washington State. They lost to Georgia. They beat Oklahoma, South Carolina, the Citadel, Florida, and Mississippi State en route to then beating Tulane again in the playoff and then beating Georgia by 5 points after losing to them by 8 earlier in the season.
Let me stop the show right here. Guys, you're messing it up. You're messing it up. Because now we're hyping Miami up. And now we're putting ourselves in a position where they're going to lose, and now we're going to look like jackasses in this whole segment. We'll downplay it because we want them to get to the final so that Mario Cristobal can go for 2 when all he needs is a 1.
This is my point when Jeremy's going through the game logs, okay? This is my only point about what you're about to watch tonight. If you think Mississippi is indeed playing the kind of football that is better than any Mississippi has ever played and is the best that the SEC can play and would be better than Miami in this circumstance. When Jeremy goes through those game logs, can you take a look at the Washington State numbers, what Washington State did to Trinidad Chambliss? Can you take a look at the Florida numbers, what Florida did to Chambliss?
Every time you say Trinidad, I'm waiting for you to say Trinidad James.
So Washington State, Chambliss had 253 yards in the air, and Florida it was 301. I'll get you the rest of those stats in a second.
No, but I don't want yards. What I'd like is sort of how much pressure they put on him in those games, because those are the lower scoring games. That offense has not been slowed by anybody, and it's because I would say to you that outside of largely Oklahoma and Florida early in the season, the defenses in that conference stunk. You're just used to these people being good, and so you think they're still good. They all stunk. It was like a lower level. It's the ACC in disguise. Whatever you thought the ACC was, all these Missouris and Vanderbilts, like they're all the same and they're all just okay.
Washington State had 3 sacks in that game. They had 6 tackles for loss and 2 passes deflected. Florida sacked them 5 times, and they had 7 tackles for loss as well. Like, Ole Miss's offensive line isn't really built, obviously, to go up against Miami's defensive line. We did give, when Miami beat Florida, we gave Florida a ton of credit for how great their defense is, so we do need to continue to do that now, considering they were seemingly healthier at the end of the year than they were earlier in the year when they played Miami. That is a good defense, but at the same time, that was a 3-7 team going into that game or after that game.
Michael Irvin should bring a separate belt with him. He takes off his actual belt, but then he's kind of pulling up his pants the whole time.
Is that right?
Yeah, like if we watch this video right here of him celebrating after they beat.
So he's always trying to be authentic here by using his own belt instead of a prop belt, and you're saying you can't use your own belt because you can't hold up your pants if you do that.
Or wear suspenders maybe, and then take off the belt. And
you're going to give him style tips?
No, I'm not style tips. Look, see? Like I'm just trying to. That's
did have
real
to pull up his
baggy.
pants there.
Those pants are really baggy. It's a wide waist. He's lost a lot of weight apparently.
What do you think he's got planned for the night? Like Michael Irvin
Tonight?
going into tonight's game. Like, do you think he just flies by the seat of his pants, or do you think he's thinking to like, what do I got to do?
You think this man has a plan?
I mean, I think he knows that he's been the star of these post game, so he's got to be thinking, all right, if we win this one, I got to have something.
This was where I was going to with that question to Mike Ryan, like who's famous on Miami other than Carson Beck? I was going to say Michael Irvin.
Well, so here, this will be a fun one to dissect here for a second. You saw how everybody got super excited about Deion Sanders and what Colorado was doing when they could have bought their way into this particular fame wave.
I think Michael Irvin was like on their sidelines a couple times.
But let's talk about this for a second when it comes to black excellence and black showmanship and Michael Irvin being almost the perfect mascot for Miami because 30 years ago he was running down the sidelines like that. My favorite Greg
40.
Cody, 40 years ago. My favorite Greg Cody column ever that he wrote was about Michael Irvin and how much he missed his late father's old hat. It was when Michael Irvin was like a freshman or a sophomore at the University of Miami, I think, or maybe a junior. But for better or for worse, that guy and everything in his personality has been representing Miami on the public stage, NFL Network, Dallas Cowboys, fired, scandals, alleged crimes, and otherwise. He's the perfectly scarred mascot for Miami, crazed, lunatic, flawed, and way, way too loud. And wonderfully loud.
We're going to find out what year it was.
Arrogantly loud. Whether you're going to find out whether it was 30 years or 40 years.
It was 40 years ago because he played from 1985, 86, and 87. So yes, you were right.
Dan, 30 years ago was 1996. Was the Super Bowl where Brett Favre blew out Drew Bledsoe.
Look at you.
I'm sorry.
Super Bowl knowledge.
Excellent work
I'm
by
telling
Amin.
Look, you, my sports knowledge up until like 2000 and probably 2, all sports, bro. I was on everything.
That's why I crush it at our pitch clock, because we do old baseball trivia.
Yeah.
Like, if we did today
That's a
baseball
good show.
trivia, I would stink.
That pitch clock. Good
I
show.
crush it because we do 03 to 08.
Oh, that's a fun time.
You just wanted to tell us that?
No, I want to tell you that you said it was either his freshman or his junior or sophomore or junior year. He only played 3 years at University of Miami, so you really nailed the
And
window.
we're going to
of time.
figure it out, Dan. We're going to get to the bottom
thank
of
you.
it.
And he wasn't a true freshman either. So maybe
Find
I
the
could-
article, Jeremy.
No, well, I wasn't asking him to find the article.
No, we are. We need to know what
I
year
need to
was
know.
of his college
Okay.
career.
What year?
Well,
It's important
all
to the story.
Okay, well, if we're going to put tonight in the proper historical context, okay, because I'm not joking when I say I've been waiting for this game for 20 years. Miami has not felt like this in football. We've been running a media company making football bets, and none of them feel like this for 20 years. Miami always stinks. Even the reincarnation of Miami. Okay, so going back in history, when it's on the sidelines, Jonathan Vilma and Ed Reed and Sean Taylor, and what they're saying is we don't want to be seen like those old Canes. We're an entirely new generation. We don't want bad boy Canes, all that stuff. That's a different time. We're doing Andre Johnson. We want to do all this differently. That's the last time Miami has mattered the way it matters today. You don't know its players the way that you know some of those stars. Because
Wait a second. Those guys were after Willis McGahee and Jeremy Shockey and those guys?
In 2001, that era, all of those guys were on the same team. The running backs were McGahee, Portis, and Gore. Those were the running backs on that team. So,
that's what I'm saying. But
3/4 of the secondary was drafted in the 4th round, and you can't remember the names of those players. But 3/4 of the secondary was drafted in the 1st round. It's the best team there's ever been. If you don't think LSU of Joe Burrow is,
that was kind of like I was getting to Mike. Like that team was famous. Everybody on that team was famous. And all I know is Carson
At the time they were?
Yeah.
Okay. I
Jeremy
thought maybe
Shockey.
once they became
Ken
pros, I thought
Dorsey.
maybe.
No, why do I know that he didn't even amount to anything? He was famous. Like
oh my God,
this was famous. Man.
Go back.
Kellen Winslow Jr. I'm a soldier. Remember that was a
Yeah.
big deal. Like, hey, we're at war, guy. You can't say you're a soldier. That was the biggest problem we had in America at the point.
All right, can you guys please go get that? So I'd like to do the comparison.
Entree roll.
Holy
Like, get
hell,
your roll
that
on.
team's
Ed
so
Reed,
good.
Vince
Wilfork.
Yeah.
Dog, I'm telling you, Chris. They were celebrities.
You know, he has a new wife now.
Does he?
Can you guys get for me, please, Kellen Winslow's I'm a Soldier? Because this time in Miami football that Amin speaks of, when Miami felt like a national professional program because they'd won some championships, and, it feels a little like Alabama before Alabama. Miami was right there on several championships for several years around this era.
In a weird way, do you know what I compare them to? And probably it's because they were contemporaries at the same time. They reminded me of the Rams in the NFL. That first Super Bowl, you're like, oh my God, these guys are going to win 700 Super Bowls. And then the next one, they lose to the Patriots, and it's kind of like, just a little close, whatever, the Vinatieri field goal, whatever. And it's like, same thing. Those guys are supposed to run the sport, and then they lose to Ohio State in a really close game at the Fiesta Bowl, of all places, right? Those are the things I think of that time, just like of a dominance that I thought, man, no one's ever going to beat them.
So what the time period that Amin is bringing up, okay, of when Ohio State beat Miami, and it seemed like an impossible thing because Ohio State only had 7 NFL draft picks, and Miami had 17 in that game. But Miami had a bunch of turnovers. Ohio State did play well in the game, and Ohio State wins at the end on a penalty flag because fireworks in the sky. Terry Porter, official that Miami still hasn't forgiven, makes the incorrect call, and Miami is denied another championship. But Ohio State was plenty great then. But what, Craig Krenzel was their quarterback? But when you look back at what you're saying about Dorsey and look at how good those teams were, go back and look at the highlights and all of those wobblers he was throwing to Andre Johnson, who was 70 feet behind everybody.
That's, as I'm saying, it's like their quarterback wasn't good, but like he was surrounded with such incredible famous talent that like it didn't matter.
So the Kellen Winslow team, and do not look up his crimes. They are wildly unpleasant, and I believe he's still in jail.
I forgot about that part.
I think he's still in prison. Kellen Winslow was in the locker room imagine how many college football players, you guys tell me in all the college interviews that you're watching these days, still on network television, not on their live streams or not on their Instagrams. How many players in college football today are giving this interview?
No, man, I'm pissed. All y'all take this down. I'm pissed, man. We don't care about nobody except it's you. We don't. If I didn't hurt him, he'd hurt me. They're gunning for my legs. I'm going to come right back at him. Soldier.
America lost its shit because he said, I'm a...
I remember that.
Like, I cannot stress enough how people were like, how dare you! How dare you! The pearl clutching. And then he went on to do some awful things.
That is correct. That you'd forgotten about already.
That's what the how dare you. I should be pearl clutching for that.
Because what you remember about Kellen Winslow and those Miami teams, what is interesting about this time period and the fact that I think that this Miami team has, I guess, sort of snuck up on the country. No,
Of course they snuck. Why do you keep asking this question? None of us, a month ago, none of us saw here in Miami. We didn't see this happening. The only people who thought that this could happen are the biggest homers of them all, Mike Ryan and him and that high school kid that he does predictions with. I don't know. I can only tell from the little profile picture they post. I'm like, who is this child? Why is he making picks? But like, those are the only people. Dan, right here in Miami, we were laughing at Mike. We're like, Mike's crazy. We had Jessica Smetana coming on every week, like laughing at Mike.
Remember, Trista was like, "You guys don't have a chance. You guys think you have a chance. No one thinks you have a chance.
Nobody. Nobody."
So it is us against the world. Nobody thought we could be here. That's what you're.
We didn't think we'd be here, and I'm not even part of the we.
So did we.
So did we.
Okay. So you're sitting here in front of me right now, alleging that the American sporting public this evening, while watching this game, is watching the reasons that people watch Floyd Mayweather. They watch Nick Saban after they got too good. They watch the Patriots. They watch Jake Paul. That people will be watching tonight in bigger numbers, making this a bigger game, because what's going to be here that you will not find in many other places in college football is a whole bunch of people watching just to see Miami lose.
Now, slow down there, Dan. I didn't say bigger numbers. I don't know how many people actually care.
Yeah, I think it's mostly indifference.
The people who do care, the people who do watch, are rooting for Ole Miss. And like I said, that rooting interest comes from two different directions. On the one direction, there's a feeling that Ole Miss got jobbed by selfish Lane Kiffin, according to Jimbo Fisher. And the other version, or the other kind of source of the rooting interest, is people don't like Miami. They don't like it as a city. They don't like it as a school. They don't like it as a team. They don't like anything about it.
They just like the vacation here.
They just like the vacation here. And you know what they do? They come here and they look at you guys derisively like, ugh, they get to live like this all the time. Ugh, why is that's so unfair? Ugh, that's how they all
So
think.
you're doing jealousy? Was that your jealousy voice?
Yes.
Was that your envy? What is that?
Bad drivers.
What's happening
Well,
there?
that's true.
No one here speaks English. Like
That's stick at driving everywhere.
The traffic here is so bad. That's what they do. They come over here and there's a part of them that's like, they don't get to have it all. They don't get to have beautiful people and the beach 12 months a year and be best at a sport that's supposed to be played in the cold, in the frozen tundra. That's their whole
hockey.
mentality. Oh, the hockey really pisses them off because they thought that was theirs.
I want more sniveling envy voice. I want that as a character. Like, so this is Miami hater. This is Miami hater guy is sort of so what you're telling me.
Is it Internet Minute?
You're telling me that Miami hater guy, because you said nothing of ratings. I believe the numbers on the game will be big because it's football and because it's Miami. That's it.
You said bigger. Big versus bigger.
I mean, Alabama being there is big. Look, I don't know how many programs you look at and say would be a ratings mover here, but I think Miami generationally is one of them. Just because
Notre Dame.
I think Miami's the ratings mover of this bunch.
Yes.
But I don't know.
Yes. In general, no.
But Indiana's a cool story, though. Like, I think we have a really, really, really local perspective on this because
Indiana's a much more national name and
it's
brand.
It's the Heisman winner. They're the only undefeated team. It's a cool underdog story on its own. Like, I think Indiana, their story becomes cooler if it's Miami because Ole Miss is also a Cinderella in a fun way. So nationally, the storyline is more fun if it's Indiana-Miami, but I don't think that there's people then in turn rooting for Miami.
Of the remaining teams, you're right. Indiana-Miami is the best matchup. Or some people might say Oregon because Cristobal came from there.
Sure.
Oregon doesn't draw. It's West Coast. Nobody cares, right? So you need like that middle America. And it's Indiana-Miami, which, of course, we've had that in basketball as well. That rivalry of Hicks versus like guys by the beach and all that stuff. And you got Mendoza is from here.
Right.
Like
all the glory to God.
Jeez.
I love him so
Oh,
much.
glory to God. You want surprise with that?
You guys are really doing this. I don't know if you hear yourselves, but this is what you have framed, okay? And it's asinine. What you have presently framed is
I'm going to close my eyes and look at the frame.
I want you to, yes, please, all of you, close your eyes.
Unless you're driving.
Close your eyes, even if you're driving. Close your eyes because this will guide you.
Open
in
every
the
like 3
future.
seconds for safety.
You guys have presented to me, as I've said, bigger, make the game bigger, sing a song, sing a national song. You guys are telling me that we are headed to a game, or a couple of games possibly, where Miami's going to be able to shout, nobody believed in us. Mm-hmm. The rest of the country is going to be rooting actively against all the Miami things because it's Miami and in order to hate Miami, and I'm saying spiking the ratings just with that little dollop of flavor, that Miami's also going to be allowed against lovable little Indiana, that upstart underdog allegedly, right up until they're undefeated and Miami's got 2 losses and Indiana's the favorite because Miami gets to be the lovable underdog. Fuck off. Like, you're telling me that that's where we're headed right now? We're 2 games from Miami being lovable underdog. You never believed in us. Fuck you 1,000 times over, like the way that we said fuck you when Michael Irvin was running down the sidelines and the way that LeBron in Miami and Chris Bosh in Miami said fuck you. You're going to put us in that position? There's Zaslow, and he's at the Peach Bowl for some reason.
So we got a bear here stumbling around. You see that mirror to the left. He's like, oh, this is weird. There's a lot of weird stuff here. Oh, my God. I just saw myself. Ah! He's like, ah, get out of here. So that's how I imagine a bear would react if they saw Jeremy in the woods.
But that's what they would do to me.
It's really screwed up to do that to a bear, honestly. Just like not expecting, just like having a nice stroll.
Right.
And just, we'll watch it one more time. This is good fun. Good, clean fun right here.
It really is.
It's just like, oh, my God.
And then he's going,
He was definitely
what a good-looking bear.
Definitely scarred from that for a few months.
Who puts a mirror in the woods?
It's weird.
That's my question.
How did it get there?
It was probably for the internet video. They probably did that on purpose.
Yeah, but you're messing with bears. I mean,
it's not right.
Leave the bear alone.
Who would do something for the internet visually like that with a bear?
Imagine that.
What are the chances there was a camera right in front of it, too?
Ridiculous.
Jeez. Small world.
Greg, it was interesting. A bunch of people agreed. Now, you had a weekend where the Eagles lost, the Niners lost, so no more undefeated teams. 72 Dolphins could celebrate. But
A lot of people saying the Dolphins were the best team in the NFL through 6 weeks. And so I know you're impressed with the offense. Hawk was in here yesterday, Andrew Hawkins, Tomahawk Podcast. He said that Tyreek Hill is the best player, non-quarterback division, in the NFL. And I agree with him. The Dolphins are overwhelming. I'm not certain they're not the best team in the NFL right now, Greg.
I think they are at this minute. They're an underdog in Philadelphia, but only by 2.5 points, which is very interesting. Definitely they have the best offense. I think it's the best offense in Dolphins history. And when I write that, I get a lot of criticism. Too soon. What about this? What about that? Look, the Dolphins won Super Bowls with Larry Zonka because they ran the ball better than anybody and barely passed. They were as exciting as ever and broke NFL records with Dan Marino because they passed the ball like nobody else, but they didn't have a great running game.
Right.
Now they're doing both. They can run the ball like crazy. They lead the league in rushing. Raheem Mostert has 11 touchdowns in 6 games. And Tua is everything they thought he would be when they drafted him number 5 ahead of Herbert. Tua is the favorite in the MVP odds right now.
Should be.
With great reason.
Yep.
And I just think this is the most dynamic, well-balanced, inventive, exciting offense I've ever had.
Can we end the debate between Herbert and Tua?
Yes.
Is it officially
Yes.
over?
Wow.
Yes.
Someone's making a noise. Where's the noise coming from? Nah, Tony's not ready.
Oh, yeah.
Can we see Justin Herbert without Brandon Staley? At that point, maybe with a better coach, I'd be intrigued.
We're going to ask that question about Justin Herbert for his whole career, right?
Yes.
We're just going to keep asking, like, oh, but what if he was with a better coach?
Oh, always.
He has the most unbelievable weapons, too.
Just like now, C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young are always going to be compared throughout their career.
But Herbert's been in the league, 4 years? And if Staley gets fired and he gets a new coach, it will be his 3rd coach in 5 years.
No, it's a shame for him. He's a really great quarterback, but I guess it's the way that we're constantly doing these comparisons between the two of them when one of them is not only winning, but breaking all of these records statistically and having a spectacular season. Obviously, like, the system has something to do with that. It would be crazy to say that it's not Mike McDaniel in some capacity. But also, different quarterbacks fit in different systems, different ways, and Justin Herbert has his flaws that maybe wouldn't work if he was just in the system. I think there's so many people saying, oh, well, if Herbert was in Tua's spot, it would be even better. I have no reason to believe that's the case.
I have something that's probably not popular, especially down here in Miami.
Oh, boy.
Dolphins offenses have ruined football for me. Like, I can't watch a football game that's not the Dolphins.
It's done
now.
the exact opposite for me.
I just can't.
Made football amazing.
Like, I'm watching. No, it's great, but I'm saying it's ruined the rest of football for me. Like, I can't watch just a single game that's not the Dolphins. Like, if I tune in, it's the 3rd quarter, it's like, I don't know, 14-9 or something. I can't watch it.
The Patriots option doesn't do it.
Well, I'm like, why can't you guys just score? I don't understand. Like, why does it take you so long to score? Why can't you just score in 3 plays in 45 seconds? Like, what's going on here?
They spoiled you.
This doesn't make sense to me. I don't get it. Is that what Iowa's like? I can't imagine watching Iowa football.
No, we don't score that much.
That's crazy. Why
Billy,
not?
They won a game 15-6 over the weekend.
But why don't you just try having everyone go in motion and throwing the ball? Yeah, why don't you just score more? Just get all the fast players in the country.
Get those tight ends running early.
Yeah, why can't you just do that? I don't get it.
There have been so many seasons in the past, so many Dolphins seasons in the past, where if they're behind 14-0 in the first quarter, the crowd is leaving. Everybody's giving up.
The game is over.
The game is over.
Tua was laughing on the sideline after they scored the 2nd touchdown, and I'm like, whoa.
Right.
Because I thought they were going to come back, but I'm like, I don't know.
That's supreme confidence.
He was smiling after the 2nd touchdown on the sideline.
When they were behind 14-0, they were still, you know how the odds update now? Christopher pointed this out to me. I didn't know it. When they're down 14-0, they're still a minus 200 favorite to win the game. There was no doubt. And it wasn't just because Carolina sucks, which it does.
Right.
It's because the Dolphins' offense is, until somebody proves otherwise, almost unstoppable.
And like 5 years ago, we were watching Jay Cutler throw passes to Devontae Parker.
Right.
Like that was supposed to be the...
It's the Big Fake Pregame Show. Fake Pregame Show. It's big. Biggest game in 20 years. It's the Big Fake Pregame Show. Fake Pregame Show. It's big.
Hello.
It's the big fake pregame show.
How does it rub you?
Just having fun, man. Dan loves when it's big.
Sorry.
Dan wants it big.
Head to head.
Mass kicks ass.
Bigger. Yeah. Bigger. Bigger. It's Brobdingnagian.
Biggest game in 20 years.
Miami Hurricanes.
Milwaukee.
Ole Miss tackles. And we're here to tell you it's big.
Oh, yeah, big buckled.
It's Brobdingnagian.
There goes another rubber tree plant.
That means big.
There goes another rubber tree plant. Like you're just using random sounds from Cody.
It's big.
What is there goes another rubber tree plant have to do anything
there
about this?
goes another rubber tree
Wait a
plant.
minute. All right, hold on a second. You guys don't know how to do big. Hold on, Zaz.
You want bigger than that?
Listen. You guys don't understand what I'm asking you to do. Zaslow, you've been a radio producer for a long time before you were a Majestic College Football Insider journalist,
rising star,
race
war expert,
race war expert, and everything else. I want you to tell me which Open is bigger because we've got the biggest game in 20 years going on tonight, and I keep exhorting these people, please make it bigger. So Roy made a new Open and Jeremy made a new Open, and I need them both to be bigger. So play for Zaslow, please. Stop Jeremy's for a second because you guys, Brobdingnagian, I need it to be bigger than all big because it's bigger than Bob Drignanian, and I need Roy's first for Zaslow, please.
Fake pregame show.
Go you!
Fake pregame show.
Let's go!
Fake pregame show. Fake pregame show.
Biggest game in 20 years.
Mass kicks ass.
How does it rub you?
We put belt to ass.
It rubs me beyond the wrong way.
Fake pregame show.
You think that your family would get a lot of joy from
Milwaukee.
So did we.
Head to head.
It's good.
Hello.
Just having fun, man.
And boom goes the dynamite.
Fake pregame show. Yeah.
I'm not letting that story mess with my glory, talking about how long, damn it, how long. History is gone. We are right here, right now. And every team they thought was going to beat us is taking their ass home.
Sorry.
And we're going to keep doing it until we land back home in our stadium for the national championship. Belt to ass.
Going to be hard to beat that. I asked Jeremy to beat that, and Brobdingnagian is what he did. But let's see if Jeremy, in Zaslow's professional radio producer ear opinion, thinks this one is bigger.
It's the big fake pregame show.
Fake pregame show.
It's big.
Biggest game in 20 years.
It's the big fake pregame show.
Fake pregame show.
It's big.
Hello.
It's the big fake pregame show.
How does it rub you?
Just having fun, man.
Dan loves when it's big.
Sorry.
Dan wants it big.
Head to head.
Mass kicks ass.
Bigger. Yeah. Bigger. Bigger. It's Brobdingnagian.
Biggest game in 20 years.
Miami Hurricanes.
Milwaukee.
Ole Miss tackles. And we're here to tell you it's big.
Oh, yeah, big buckled.
It's Brobdingnagian.
There goes another rubber tree plant.
That means big.
It doesn't make any sense. He's singing a song. What is the rest of that song? give me the rest of the lyrics, please, of There Goes Another Rubber Tree Plant, because I just need to get to the bottom of why that's at the end of that, as we also have breaking news. Dolphins have fired Mike McDaniel.
What? Oh, my God. I can't handle this today.
So, I mean, we were going to have a big celebration here on the 50th day that I could fire Mike McDaniel, but, like, He's actually fired now. So, all right, it's a party, I guess, right?
I mean, it doesn't really suggest that they know what they're doing when they do it this piecemeal, just sort of without explaining to anybody, hey, we just needed McDaniel to sort of hold on at the end so that we can just get everybody out of here at the same time. We needed him to just be a face and voice for, well, there's somebody still in the building speaking on behalf of the team, and no one told him.
Well,
right.
Can I offer perhaps? Maybe you're like, oh, I like Mike McDaniel, but then you see there's a Harbaugh available.
That's where my mind goes.
Hold on for a second. Why am I married to this guy? Well, look who's on the market.
Okay, so this is what we're going to do immediately, I suppose. This is what you have to do if you're one of 7 teams in the market for Jim Harbaugh. He brings instant stability, credibility, and all these things where it's rare for a coach to get fired and everyone. I mean, think about how cutthroat that business is, especially in football. Andy Reid was a fool not that long ago. Like he has reinvented himself since, but there aren't many of the guys other than Tomlin and Harbaugh where you're like, really? You're going to be 18 years in one place? Like, how the hell does that happen? Everybody gets fired, and then everyone's shocked when he is let go. Mm-hmm. Like, that's just because you're like, oh, we still expected you to be good. You still have the quarterback, and now that he's available, all the bad teams think he's the fix. And so if you want to be one of the bad teams who can get him, he's the most coveted thing there's been in free agent coaching, and I don't know how long, right? Because you're going to have 7 people who want, can you please come fix this? We've just got a shit show with the Jets and with the Giants. Which of these jobs would you like here? And Miami's doesn't have a quarterback. So if Stephen Ross is going to get in the game, the only way he can do it is, hey, at my place, you can also pick the GM or be the GM. You can have all the power. The Harbaugh, the thing that you're giving him, what this firing shows you, I think, Zaslow, you tell me if you have another instant reaction to this, but the timing of all this suggests to me that the only way you can get Harbaugh here is to do what you were saying yesterday, which is wildly overpay him, but also tell him you can have all of the power. You can do everything, and you can pick your next quarterback, and you can show us if the Harbaughs can do it with anybody.
Yep. I mean, maybe Stephen Ross was listening, although Troy Aikman should have told him this by now. If you just pay the coach an exorbitant amount of money with no salary cap, go offer John Harbaugh $50 million a season. I dare him to say no to that. But yeah, my first thought is that on top of what you just said, which is, and you could also get X amount of control maybe in the front office. You'll have say in who we're going to hire as the GM, but it's you and him. Like you're going to have say in personnel. That's the only way you could wind up getting him. It's funny where, I mean, how sloppily was this handled by the Dolphins? Where it was just a few days ago that Mike McDaniel stood in front of everybody and said he's going to be part of the general manager search.
Well, but something changed. Look, sports is cutthroat. It's a business, and things change very quickly. And what changed is that Harbaugh became available, and that part seems obvious now. If they want to get in the game, they got to do it quickly. This is all going to happen pretty fast. It's rare that you've got 7 suitors for the same guy. I don't know. Look, step back from this for a second. Somebody give me all the examples, not just football, of the coaching free agent where everyone is like, whoa, how'd he get fired? We all know he's good. And now you've got a ton of teams who would like just the credibility of that.
Bill Belichick.
A good example, and nobody wanted it. Oh. Harbaugh, though, does have coveted free agent. We're power hungry. We know this guy is good. I dare say Baltimore did John Harbaugh a favor by making him somebody at this point in his career who's allowed to reinvent himself with all the power. And while Zaslow's saying a ridiculous thing there at $50 million a year, you're not going to 5 times or even 3 times whatever the salary structure is or whatever. What are you saying? I mean, that you're looking at me saying that they are going to do that?
No, I'm thinking about Zaslow saying $50 million a year.
No, but what Zaslow
But it's because
saying,
money isn't an object to this guy.
Steven,
why wouldn't you?
What? Okay. I mean, no. What? All right. You're saying it's absurd, and I'm saying the number is also absurd. But let's deconstruct this for a second. Harbaugh has just become available at a time of panic and leadership-lessness in Miami. Stephen Ross, at the end of his life, considering mortality and having won but being a laughingstock for 25 years in this town, as the worst owner there could possibly be in South Florida, but also he does good business. Hey, thanks for F1. Thanks for running that stadium. It's a major league place you've built there, but you are a laughingstock in the one place that you want to be excellent. Everyone thinks you're a clown. You are terrible at this. You can't do it within the salary structures. You can't do it even within the rules if you believe some of what it is that's being said, because you're so desperate to win at the end. And Zaz is saying money is no object. You are allowed to pay this person anything you want. We were talking earlier this week and saying, imagine what Stephen Ross would pay in an open market, no salary cap for a quarterback. He would pay $1 billion for a quarterback at the end of his life and go into partnership and give him part ownership of the team because he would so badly want to win at the end of his life. As everyone says, he's a careless clown, a careless clown. And so the number's ridiculous, but why couldn't Stephen Ross blow up the coaching salary ranks, because the only advantage he could possibly have is to have more money than the other guy?
That Mike McDaniel Magic Crate topic was a little ahead of its time.
No, man.
That was slapped right
I
now.
owe an apology to Juju, apparently.
It's going to hurt when he's the Lions offensive coordinator next
That's
year.
the game we're
Score
playing.
$1 billion
Where's
points
Mike
per game.
He's going to be an amazing offensive coordinator somewhere.
I think I agree. It's either Detroit or I could see San Francisco back with Shanahan.
But Detroit feels like the spot.
Doing circles around everybody. But no, the only example we have in professional sports in the world of owners being allowed to pay whatever it takes and them actually paying whatever it takes is Saudi Arabia. There is no other place. So you guys go, oh, look, Steve Ballmer is one of the 10 richest people in the world. Ty Lue doesn't make $50 million, right? Like, so this idea that, like, oh, because there's no salary cap on front office or coaching, but someone's going to invest an amount of money that is absurd. That, guys, there's still America. These billionaires don't like paying money. They like getting stuff cheap and for free and on the margins. Now, the highest paid coach in the NFL right now is Andy Reid at $20 million a year. If you told me, hey, we're going to get Harbaugh, we're going to give him GM and head coach, I could see his salary going 25, maybe even $27 million. Double that? Double that? No way, man. Not a chance in hell. He's not that. First of all, he's not that kind of coach. He's a great coach. He's not, oh, my God.
Well, he's coveted free agent at the right time, which makes him might as well be.
Nobody is approaching that figure like that.
These are synonyms. What you just said are synonyms. Great coach and most coveted coach at the most desperate time with the most desperate suitors. Those things are the same thing. There's no difference there.
Okay. But what I'm saying to you is that does not evaporate the rules of economics.
Zaz is the one arguing this. Zaz is saying, if you want this guy, from the voice of the fan, Zaz is simply saying, if you want this guy, go get him. Give him all the money.
That's exactly my point.
Give him all the money and give him all the power.
That's exactly my point to me. And like, nothing you're saying is incorrect. It would be absurd economically to give John Harbaugh, and I'm just making up a number, $50 million. You know, it's an offer he can't refuse. But if you're the owner and there's no salary cap and money is not an object, it's literally nothing to him.
That's
the money.
my point.
Why not just go do what you want?
That's my point. And we operate as if money is nothing to these people. It is something to them. It is. They don't spend like that. They might spend. Hey, you spent how much on a hammer, on a toilet, on whatever?
All right.
They don't spend $50 million on an employee.
So let me frame it for you this way. Just can you give me, Jeremy, the amount of money, please, that Stephen Ross has given away, the amount of money that Stephen Ross has given to Michigan? I'm not telling him to spend this money this way. I'm simply framing it for you in an end-of-life mortality legacy way.
Dan.
Yep.
Please let me finish. Just let me please. This owner in South Florida who cares deeply about not being a clown laughingstock has been so desperate, just trying to get Tom Brady, just disaster after disaster. 25 years of incompetence, offensive line coach snorting blow off the desk, like just irrelevant team after irrelevant team. This guy's only advantage in sports in the modern age can be to have more money than the next guy. Compound that with, at the end of his career and life, doing this with something it is that he cares about. At this moment right now, The Dolphins look like they do not have a plan, do not have an idea, do not have a leader, do not have a voice, do not know how to do anything going forward. What would you pay to replace that with an amount of money? Because you do it with this amount of money given to this man. What's the amount that you'd think he'd be willing to go in that context as a billionaire? Just please cure my problems tomorrow. I'll wire the money here now.
I just don't. I think it's going to be commensurate with whatever the current market value for highest paid coach. Because that's how these people operate, man. Like this is Saudi Arabia where the guy's like, $200 billion a year to go. Like they don't do that.
How much money is he giving away, Jeremy?
Just in 2013, he gave $200 million to the University of Michigan,
Right.
$100 million to athletics, $100 million to the Stephen Ross School of Business. He gave another $50 million in 2017.
Did he pay that to an individual?
No, it's the University of Michigan.
Oh, okay. Was that someone's salary? Was that Michigan
but that is probably
it was a philanthropic donation? Yes.
It's how he donated to Michigan. $100 million went to the athletics program, and I will say, soon thereafter, they hired Jim Harbaugh to be their head coach.
Okay, my point is this: that doesn't mean shit when it comes to paying employees. You guys are living in a fantasy land of the fan, where it's like he's rich, he can afford it. Yeah, he can afford it. He doesn't spend money like that. That's why he can afford it.
I mean, what if this time that ridiculous amount of money that he would give this individual would stop him
from losing?
Did he
would stop him from losing?
Being a laughing stock.
$20 million is the highest paid coach in the NFL right now. Andy Reid, who we all consider to be excellent at his job. If you told me, hey, first of all, I think the power is a bigger play for Harbaugh than as Bill Parcells once said.
You can have all of it. It's the only thing the Dolphins offer.
But that's the real thing they offer. That's the real. Hey, you get to buy the groceries and then cook it, in the words of Bill Parcells. Then you start from there. You say, okay, well, I'm doing two jobs. I'm Harbaugh. I'm doing two jobs. Well, you can't pay me enough for just the one job. Cool. 25, 27, $30 million a year. You say $50 million a year. That makes zero sense. First of all, you got to staff everybody else, right? Because if you're paying him 50, what's his associate head coach worth? What are his coordinators worth? What is his assistant general manager worth? You have to be able to staff, right? Number one. Number two, you don't think NFL owners talk to each other about like, yo, don't set a precedent where we're paying guys.
So Zaz, you tell me. The Raiders paid Chip Kelly $6 million a year. That's where the advantages are. If you're a rich person, you can outbuy a coach, and these guys are getting unreasonable salaries.
Marginally, you don't go quadruple what the highest paid guy is.
But if Stephen Ross says, I don't care, I just want to win, I'm old, I can't take my money with me when I die, why does Stephen Ross care?
Well, first of all, I believe he has like heirs, so it's not like just his money, he dies and now it's all gone. Number one. Number two, again, you're speaking like a fan's ass. Like you're like, if I had that money, I'd do it. He's not gonna do it, man. I don't. Like, what do you want?
Okay,
at this point, like the only way we can settle this is let's see how much Harbaugh gets paid. If he gets paid anything more than $30 million, all
right,
I will concede.
All right, no. So let's not get caught up in the absurdity of what the number has to be.
Because it is absurd.
The point, yes, of course. The point remains on what Zaslow is saying is, as we speak right now, what we did not think would be so 10 minutes ago is when Jim Harbaugh became available. All of a sudden, John Harbaugh. I'm going to make that mistake a lot. When John Harbaugh became available, 18 seasons, I gave this stat yesterday, 12 playoff seasons in 18 years with some different quarterbacks. 12 playoff seasons in 18 years is more than Arizona has in 106 years, okay? So he's a coveted free agent. The only way to get him, is for the Dolphins to have a more appetizing job than the other 7 teams. When you got Jackson Dart, when you've got young quarterbacks, there were greater, easier paths to success. The only thing the Dolphins offer that no one else can offer is, hey, blank slate, all the power, all the money. You go get them, Harbaugh. This is Ravens did you a favor. You are the highest paid coach in the game because you're available. And sorry, Andy Reid, you're paid less than that now.
Why are the Dolphins the only team that can offer that?
All of those things. All of the things of no quarterback. You can pick your own GM. You can be the GM, and we will give you the most money. That's not everyone else.
It's their only advantage.
Not everyone else is in the same desperate position of Stephen Ross at the end of his life.
Let me ask you guys a question. A couple of years ago, the Broncos were sold to the Walton family. They're hundreds of billions of dollars, right? They had an opening, and Sean Payton was a guy with a name and everything, and they went aggressive for Sean Payton, right? They gave him control. They paid him. They didn't pay him $50 million. They didn't even make him the highest paid coach. They paid him a lot. He's one of the top 5 highest paid coaches. But again, there is a realm of reason, especially when it comes to coaching and front office. You guys might idolize this. I'm going to tell you right now, billionaires, they still look at it as like, well, that guy's doing all the winning, pointing at the quarterback or pointing at the star player. They're like, you're just a guy. Yeah, if you're not the right guy, just get someone else in here. There's no part of them that looks at it as like, no, this is my man, and I have to go down with the ship with him. Again, Ty Lue is widely recognized as one of the best coaches, best X's and O's guys, best ATO guys, best communicators, former player, won a championship as a player, won a championship as a head coach. Steve Ballmer is worth more than the next 15 NBA owners together. 15, right? And when it came time, the Ty Lue's like, all right, let me get paid. Steve Ballmer was like, oh, let me see what the market says. He actually had to go out and shop around because it's like, really? So then it's like, oh, should I go to the Suns or whatever? And then they paid him. And even then, they paid him, but not exorbitant amounts.
Harbaugh's already making $17 million a year. Zaslow, where are you on all this?
Yeah, I think the one example that I would give is because there's no reason for Harbaugh to want the Dolphins job. So obviously you're trying to make an offer he can't refuse. And the one example I would give, Deshaun Watson didn't want to play for the Cleveland Browns. And back then, giving $250 million guaranteed, by the way, with a salary cap, but giving $250 million guaranteed was unheard of. But it's what they had to do to convince him to play quarterback for them.
Yeah.
That's the example I'd give.
Yeah, but the example you gave is a player. And owners will pay players because there's an element of that's an irreplaceable talent right there. They look at coaches and front office people as, all right, so I'll get another guy.
Zaslow, I'm telling you right now, if you got out in front of the report, Harbaugh to the Dolphins, everything that just happened here sniffs of that. Everything. McDaniel was not wronged here at the end. He was a 500 coach, and the way that we turned on him and the quarterback is ugly, including that there's a CTE issue in the middle of that, and it ends up trampling both of them. It's the asinine nature of what it is that undercut this Dolphin season, head injury included, makes it so that everybody is dumped and they start all over. And I think it'd be a pretty easy report to say, given the histories at Michigan, given the histories between the families, the Harbaughs, that what just happened today is because whatever's already needing to be in place is being put in place because the Dolphins are going to go so hard at this that they're not going to get him. They're going to get him. If I'm guessing that Zaslow could report that now and be right in a couple of days, as soon as they start feeding it to the insiders what the money's actually going to be.
Look, I'm here in Atlanta with ESPN today. I'm on at 3 o'clock. I'm doing an afternoon drive with Amber Wilson. You better believe that I am leading with that. I'm going to be right in front of this thing here. Put my name on the crawl. I'm telling you in advance.
Well, then do it now. What are you doing? We can't have it then. Just go ahead and report it now. Do you have it? No, do you have it? What do you mean? Oh, yeah. I don't know if you have it yet. Have you done any reporting on this?
He's got a workshop.
I got to make a couple calls, all right? I'm a real journalist here. I don't just throw things out all willy-nilly. I mean, heck, a couple days ago, someone tipped you off about Trae Young and the Washington Wizards. I don't necessarily have to say their name. You guys know who it is. But I got to make a couple calls here. This news broke after I was already on with you. But I'm telling you right now, this passes the smell test. The Dolphins, they're going after Harbaugh, and I think they're going to offer him an incredible amount of money. Now, that's just my opinion, but I'm going to make a couple calls here. We'll see.
He's got to do some work. He's got his reading light behind him over there by the bed. It's on because he's got to go and do some reading.
Zaslow, that report needs to be for Meadowlark Media. That report cannot be for ESPN Radio at 3 o'clock. You work now at Meadowlark Media. You're going to the Peach Bowl. You're at the Peach Bowl right now. You can't be here. You're at the wrong game. You're at the incorrect game. Tell us about the sad hotel. Tell us about the sad vibe there.
Okay.
The Peach Bowl is gross.
Okay, the hotel is not sad. This is actually my favorite hotel that we stay in every time we come to Atlanta. This is the best hotel. We're at the Hyatt Regency. This hotel is awesome.
Just put it out there.
Why would you do that? He shouldn't do that. People
I
are gonna
shouldn't
be-
do
no,
that.
people-
Who cares?
People are going to be
hundreds of
calling
people
you
show
now.
up.
What's the matter? Are you an
Oh,
idiot?
whatever. I'm a man of the people.
are
You
you
want to
an
come
idiot?
say hi to your
What's your
boy?
room
Come on
number?
down, let's have a drink.
Well, if they don't
Call,
say
call
hi.
the front desk, everybody. Hyatt Regency in
You're not
Atlanta. Say,
paying
hey, can I
attention
talk to
what's
Jonathan
happening in
Zaslow?
America
I
right
stay
now?
under an alias. I don't have to worry about that. You can't just call
Jack
my
Spade.
room and get a hold of me. Don't worry about that.
Jack
Can I tell you
Spade
something, though?
in a very tight window there. Jack Spade, are you aware? We'll get to that in a second. Are you aware that Roy
Non de plume.
are you aware that Roy checks in the hotel?
He checks in as King Spade?
No, as
No, it's better, even better. Jack Spade.
Jack Spade.
I'm gonna get you, sucker.
Yeah, no, Roy, you're making a reference that a Philistine like Zaz would never get. He hasn't even seen Dodgeball. You think he's seen I'm gonna get you, sucker?
I don't care about dodgeball,
You know what?
man. It's been
I'm
built
looking
up
at
too much. I'm
looking at a sucker right now. I'm looking at a sucker right now on my screen.
Man, you're lucky I'm here at the Hyatt Regency, not in studio.
What do you do on flights? I asked Dan this right before we came on. What do you do on a plane? It's a 2-hour flight to Atlanta, right? From Miami?
Hour 10, much
Hour
shorter.
10. What are you doing? What are you doing in that hour 10?
I was watching TV on my iPad.
What TV, what were you watching? You watching children's
I'm actually in the
show?
middle. I'm in the middle of a binge rewatch of The Sopranos.
Could have been watching Dodgeball.
It's a
Gonna
good rewatch.
rewatch something
It's a
else.
good rewatch.
It is, but don't.
It's the best of the rewatches.
No, it's not the
actually.
best.
I'm thinking of going to there a third time.
The
I'm thinking
best
about
of the
going a
rewatches,
third time.
sir. I've been rewatching Family Ties. We didn't give that show enough credit.
Wow, Michael P. Keaton?
Michael P. Keaton. Alex P. Keaton. Michael J. Fox.
Yes, like I said.
Sucker.
Okay, that's a terrible reference compared. Really, The Sopranos.
Family Ties. You're not respecting Family Ties. Respect yourself, Dan Le Batard.
Oops.
Respect yourself.
Oops, there goes another rubber tree plant. Came from the 1959 winner for Best Original Song at the Oscars. It's High Hopes by Frank Sinatra, which he later re-recorded to be the actual official campaign song of the John F. Kennedy campaign for president in 1960.
Can you give me the lyrics, though? I didn't want any of the information about
fun
the
fact.
history of the song.
Hopes for it. Right? That's how it goes,
I
right?
wanted. Which was the bigger pregame show, Zaz? You never gave us what your actual thoughts were.
Well, yeah, because there was breaking news of Mike McDaniel. The first one comes off as celebratory. My phone's ringing in the hotel room. Somebody's calling me.
Someone already got your
Yeah.
Somebody just
You're an
called the
idiot.
airport.
Yeah, he's an idiot.
I go answer it?
He's a moron. Sure, go answer it.
All right, hang on.
Go talk to a fan.
Guarantee you
Yes,
it's a
of
listener.
course.
Bring your
God,
mic with
I
you.
hope so.
Bring your
Heady
mic with
play.
you.
Like he
Is
still
it a
thinks,
wireless?
Does he still think he's anonymous?
Speak loudly. It is
No, we
wireless.
can't
He's
hear
not
him.
going to be able to bring the phone.
It's wireless,
over.
yeah. Yeah, it is.
I brought the phone with me. They hung up before I got there,
Oh,
so
okay.
it's right next to me in case.
Okay. All right.
Okay, but now of course somebody's going to hunt you down here.
Now
before
they
the
all
end
are
of-
because they saw it works.
Yeah, and so I guess calls with Zaslow. Look,
How'd they figure out my alias?
Zaslow, I'd be totally fine going live streaming right up now to the biggest game in the history of games tonight because we should be live streaming with calls and callers. Callers on Zaslow's phone, finding him at the Hyatt Regency. Why are you at the Peach Bowl, Zaslow? You're at the wrong game, doing the wrong.
know.
You're doing the wrong thing.
Look, we set our schedule for College Football Campus Tour before the season starts, and we were always coming to the Peach Bowl and then the National Championship. And once the tournament bracket came out, it's like, shit, the Hurricanes are on the other side of the bracket. So, yeah, I don't really have control of it, but I love Atlanta. I like coming to Atlanta, so it's okay. I'm going to be watching tonight. I'll be watching at the bar, getting loose.
How you like that airport?
It's fine. Can I tell you, I had such a disgusting experience flying over here. Can I tell you guys?
Yes, please.
So, you know how you go on Twitter, you go on social media, there are always these stories you see. People post videos or pictures on the airplane with people who take their shoes off and shit, and they'll put their feet up on the seat in front of it. I got to tell you, I fly a lot, and I've never encountered an experience like that. I've never had really a bad flying experience until yesterday. I'm sitting first class, of course. I'm sitting in the very front row on first class, and the slob who was next to me, but across the aisle, it's not immediately next to me. Him and his slob son, they're sitting on the aisle across from me, and Buddy's got his shoes off, no socks, the long, gross toenails, the entire flight. He's got them up against the wall, because they're in the first row. And I don't understand. I don't understand people, man. And by the way, they're always slobs, right? It's never like a good look. It's never like a handsome guy. Who's got
what difference does that make?
It makes a difference. It makes a difference.
What do you mean it makes a difference? A handsome guy.
Usually the son's like a Nepo baby.
So wait a minute. What you're alleging? Let me see. I understand.
Not alleging anything.
Yeah, I want to understand the nature of your allegation because it's not hard to say, "Hey, barefoot guy in the plane, don't do that." But what you're saying is it's always a slob. It's never a guy in a suit who looks presidential and also has decided to take off and show you shoes that are less talony than these feet.
The slob dad is always kind of an entitled guy, a real narcissist.
Oh, and he's on the phone being all loud and shit before takeoff. He's a slob, Dan.
Hooked it up for his son to get a job with his buddy, probably. Yeah.
Son was like 400 pounds right next to him. I'm telling you. I guess like if he was right next to me, I'd have to say something. I guess because it was across the aisle, because that's a delicate situation, right? I mean, where like if I say something and now the rest of the flight's like I've started a confrontation,
Did you give him looks though? You can kill him with looks.
Yeah, of course.
Thinning hair.
All right,
goes to
so
the
hold on
family,
a
except
second.
for one of the sons, he's fine.
At Le Batard Show, do you tell the guy in first class with his talon feet out on the
He did not belong in first class.
Kick him out.
What are you
Even
doing?
a kid. He lost me when he had a kid in first class. How old's this kid? I don't like seeing like a.
Well, I said he was like 400 pounds.
Okay,
so he was.
wait a minute. You're being a classist. You're
not a
being
child.
Kid's old enough to have his own child.
Okay, so
perhaps.
he was old. Okay,
Yeah,
I don't like a. I hate seeing a 6-year-old in first class.
Perhaps with a wife that he outkicked his coverage with.
You're being a classist and a body shamer. You're being a classist and a body shamer.
Yes, I mean is.
When you sit here and you say 400 pounds, slob, on the phone loud, shouldn't be in first class. You shouldn't be in first class.
No, I'm very well behaved. All right, I deserve to be in first class. If you're the type of person who goes on a plane like that, you don't belong in first class. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
I picture this guy on a podcast right now being like, this slob next to me was watching Sopranos.
Yeah, that's what I want. I want to hear. So you know what? I want to hear the other guy's side. I want to hear the podcast of that guy, probably with his son. Maybe his son's a co-host. Maybe he's a producer. Maybe they do musical bits. And they're talking about Zaslow as like this disgusting guy with a soda drinker's body and a big ass head. Watching Sopranos.
I can't believe that you publicly said at Le Batard Show on Twitter, Juju, that Family Ties is as good a rewatch as The Sopranos.
Respect yourself,
it's
Dan.
just
Have you rewatched
unbelievable
Family
what you're
Ties?
saying. I actually dabble in something like that and Miami Vice. Listen,
You're not going to compare.
Dabble
Miami.
in something like that.
Yeah, it's
well, the reason,
nothing like that.
when I need 20 minutes of something fast and I'm not thinking about anything and I'm bored about streaming, Family Ties and something like Miami Vice, I'll check in on my childhood occasionally. The Jeffersons, I'll go watch 20 minutes of family.
Not Family Ties.
All in the family, family. But to say that it airs as a rewatch in comparison to the success to The Sopranos is as bad a take as you've ever had.
Not enough F-bombs for you, Dan Le Batard? Oh, I need someone to get off for me to feel like I'm watching good television.
It's like saying, like Amin saying, like, oh, I do cocaine, and you saying I dabble in something like that with caffeine. Don't put them in the same class.
Family Ties, great show. Beginning to end. Beginning to end. They never fell off. Can you see that about Sopranos? How many people were upset? Now everyone wants to do revisionist history. When that finale aired, boy, was America pissed.
Yep.
I'm in the middle of the part in the show where Carmela and Tony aren't together, and I've realized I don't like that. It makes me uncomfortable. I like when they're together. I don't like when they're
when they're together and he's cheating on her constantly.
Just like I like when Alex was with Ellen. When they broke up, it kind of hurt me, my feelings. But then we get a young Courtney Cox comes in as, what was her name? Lauren? What was her name? Roy, you know these things.
No, I do not know her name.
All right. Well,
I
Courtney
love the history of The Sopranos, and one of the things that isn't known about The Sopranos is how much David Chase had to fight in order to get all of that stuff done, including whenever it is the end of the first season or the beginning of the second, where he has Tony actually murder someone. the feeling was that they were going to end the show right there because you could not have someone on television who was an actual murderer and have anyone celebrate the show, want to watch the show. Like, it changed the way that television was made for the next 20 years.
Yeah, wasn't he the first anti-hero?
No,
on one of these?
I don't know if he was the
I thought that
first
was
or
Taylor
not,
Swift.
but he was given the credit for being the first because people were rooting for somebody who was a clear murderer, and it ended up spawning the ability to do Breaking Bad and all these other anti-heroes where people were
Shield.
enjoying that
Do you
stuff.
guys know why that is? Why it's like, we can't make the hero be a bad guy. You guys know why that is, right? Because years and years and years ago, when the start of movie making in America, they had Scarface, the original Scarface came out, and the government flipped out. Like, we can't have this. So they created this thing called the Hays Commission. Warren G. Harding had the Hays Commission, and they basically wrote this whole rule book for the good guy always has to win. Bad people who do bad deeds have to have comeuppance. All this, like, you can't show like an open mouth kiss. All of these rules were written, and for like 25, 30 years, every TV show, every movie had to follow those rules. This is an American invention, the idea like, good guy has to win, right? It wasn't until the 60s where the movie industry said, hey, we'll create our own thing called the MPAA, and we will self-police because self-policing is better than having the government tell you what to do. That's why all that stuff happens. Now, the crazy thing is, even though those rules don't exist anymore, storytelling for decades still followed it out of habit because we were like, how can we have a good guy be bad? And now the moment someone did it, it was like, oh, this is so revolutionary. But really it isn't, because if you go back to the 30s, the bad guy
This is why he says Family Ties is revolutionary, because Michael J. Fox was a loud Republican child.
Do you know what the premise was of the show? Zaz, you're a TV guy. What was the premise of Family Ties?
I mean, the mother was supposed to be the star of the show, but Michael J. Fox ended up stealing it, and they built the show. He became the big star. They built the show around him.
You did a great Stephen A. Smith where I asked you a question, you answered a completely different question. I said, what was the premise? Not who was the star of the show. Meredith Baxter Birney, by the way, put some respect on her name.
I mean, the premise was a family, everyday life. What do you mean was the premise?
No, the parents were hippies.
Parents were hippies.
In that generation.
The kid was portending what America's future would become by being a Republican child.
Neocon. He was a neocon, and it was like, how could we have given birth to a neocon? That's the show.
Did he try to fuck his mom in that one too, like in Back to the Future?
Jeez.
Jesus is the appropriate response. I'm sorry to do this
Amen.
to you, Jeremy.
Minor penalty, 2 minutes. Personal foul. Personal and foul.
Saw somebody tracking that Jeremy was our leading penalty minutes person last year.
He's a goon.
You can't get enough. Can't get enough. Peach Bowl, Zaz. Peach Bowl. See you later.
See ya. Bye, guys.